Hey everyone, Shea Couleé here, and I am so excited to get into the top model of it all. We are joined by top model legend and Cycle 6 finalist, Joanie Sprague. Yes, we find out all the tea on Cycle 6 from Joanie as we take a very nostalgic trip down memory lane. We get all the tea from Joanie about her drastic makeover, the photoshoots, Tyra, the drama at home, and our favorite subject, Jade. Top model fans, rejoice! We are getting all the gossip today. Stay tuned.
Forever. Dog.
With me, Shea Couleé. Are top model fans born or made? Hi, I'm Shea Couleé, and welcome to Wanna Be on Top, a podcast where I explore the cultural phenomenon that launched 1,000 smizes. As always, I'm joined by insatiable power bottom and top model expert, Maxwell Esposito. Hi, Maxwell. How's it going? Nice to see you.
Yes, hello, Shea. Welcome to let's welcome everyone to our first video episode of Wanna Be on Top. I'm super excited today to be getting into this episode, but how are you? How's everything going? It's officially March. Spring has sprung, basically.
In some parts of the world, we had a fake spring in Chicago about 2 weeks ago. It was in the 50s for one day, and then we had a blizzard the very next day. A lot of fun.
That tracks.
It feels very Chicago. I have just been inside playing PlayStation, eating pasta, watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey, which may have inspired my desire to eat pasta. But you know, I'm doing great. Been going to the gym, working on trying to get my bubbies to be bigger.
Keeping the boobies intact.
Yes.
For the family and your daughters.
Yes, for all my daughters, because I want to be an inspiration to them all, that they too, with lots of work, eating yams and pasta and going to the gym, they too can have some boobies that are a size 39 across. I don't really have a cup size because I'm not filling out any cups yet, but you know, my underwire is definitely a 39.
My underwire is definitely... It's kind of fierce. It's kind of fierce.
Yes, fierce.
It's very fierce.
Welcome back. Now, Maxwell and I are so excited because we are meeting with top model royalty today. Now, we have discussed our love for contestants throughout so many cycles, and we are so excited because we get to welcome to our show finalist from Cycle 6, Joanie Sprague. Hi, Joanie. How are you?
Hi, Joanie.
Hi. Hello.
Oh my goodness, it is so nice to see you, meet you virtually.
Nice to meet you.
I know for Maxwell and I, just being really big top model fans, it's really awesome. And we're so grateful to have the opportunity to sit down and chat with you because A, we're really big fans of the show. B, we're super big fans of you.
Yay.
And you've been up to a lot of really interesting things since leaving the top model house. And we will get into all of that later. One of the things that we love about Top Model is the nostalgia of it all. You know, it really is a wonderful trip down memory lane for all of us because it reminds us of like who we were, where we were, what was going on in our lives, like when this was airing. So anytime we bring a guest onto our show, we always want to do the same thing with them and take a little trip down memory lane. So now I'm going to take you back This is 2005. Okay. What was Joanie, then Dobbs, what was Joanie wearing? What was Joanie listening to on her CD player, MP3 player, iPod? What were some of Joanie's favorite music videos? If Joanie had posters of anybody on her wall, well, you were like an adult at this point. So I don't know. Many people in their 20s with like posters on their wall.
Posters.
Like, who were you wearing? Like, you know, what type of jeans were you wearing? Like, where did you shop? Like, where did you hang out? Just like, paint a little portrait of us, of a young Joanie.
So young Joanie. So right before I auditioned for Top Model, I had been working for American Eagle at the store at the mall for like 2 years. So like all my wardrobe was American Eagle. But I moved to LA right after the show. So still 2005, 2006. I was living with Lisa, and we loved to thrift. Like, we were thrifting, we were borrowing each other's clothes. It was literally whatever we could like get our hands on. And also too, right after the show, brands would give us free clothes. That was like a big thing. It's like trade for modeling. So I had all kinds of free clothes from wherever. Also on the show, there were different photo shoots where there was clothing on the rack, and they were like, take whatever you want, girls. So we were like, we took all the clothes. They were from like Sears. So I was just a poor young model. I was literally wearing whatever I could. Music back then, I really liked Incubus and Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes and, you know, just hip hop, whatever was on the radio, because it was still radio back then, right? It was like, there was no Spotify yet or anything like that. We were definitely downloading illegal songs still, or playing music off YouTube and stuff. And then as far as like, I don't know, I mean, I didn't really have, yeah, you're right. I was older. I didn't have anything on my wall, but when I was in college, I still really loved Metallica, and I used to play the bass guitar, believe it or not, like back in college. So I had posters of Metallica, and more specifically Lars Ulrich, who's like their drummer. So
I love that you're like Incubus, Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes. First of all, love the varieties. Second of all, I think it was really clear to any Top Model fans that Joanie was like not, you were very much so branded, I feel like, as the all-American, like Lauren Hutton kind of model, but you really had a lot of soul, you know, especially like when the challenge where you guys had the like soul modeling, you know, when you had to do all the spins and twirls and everything like that. And you guys had to do like the crunking photo shoot, and they were all like, oh, well, first, I love Tyra being like, I'm going to show you guys what crumping. She just got up there and went nuts. And then they were like, oh, Joanie, like, what did you learn from the crumping photo shoot? Can you show us some of your moves? And then Joanie busts out the fucking Harlem Shake.
Yeah,
and I was
Harlem
just
Shake, remember that?
Yes. I was like, Joanie came in with the Harlem Shake. And I was like, okay, Joanie knows what's tea. Joanie knows what's up. She's not your average American girl. Okay. I live. So, okay. Just going back to you auditioning, what was it that made you want to go out and audition to be on America's Next Top Model?
I mean, I'd seen it on TV. I was watching, I don't think I watched like the first 2 seasons, but I watched 3 and 4, sort of, kind of here and there. And then I was modeling, but like really like small town, not doing much, you know, type thing. And then at the time, my boyfriend's brother was like, they're having auditions for that show. You should go do it. And I was like, you know what? I freaking should. I really should. And so I think it was like that one person telling me, hey, there's auditions happening in Pittsburgh. I heard it on the radio or saw it on TV or something like that. And I thought, okay. So thank you, Dave, if you're listening. Dave Moore.
You know, I feel like one thing is like, honestly, the overwhelming theme that we have seen from past contestants who we've interviewed on the show, none of them, not a single one was just all like, I saw it and I was like, yes, this is for me. Literally every single person was like, a friend or a cousin or a relative was like, hey, you should do this. You most definitely should go out and do this. And like that served as like the spark of inspiration, like the catalyst to get so many of these iconic America's Next Top Model contestants to go out and try out for the show. So thank you
Yeah,
to all the supporters out there in the world, because as fans, we are so grateful that you took the moment to tell these amazing contestants to go out for this show. So thank you. So when you started auditioning and going through the process, like what was it that you found most nerve-wracking? What was like the part that you were most nervous about being on TV, competing to be a model, or if anything at all?
It's weird. It was like nothing I've ever felt before, right? So I've tried out for cheerleading, and you get a little bit of butterflies and stuff like that, waiting for your number to be called and stuff. And I did one model search when I was like 21 one time, and you get a little bit of butterflies from that. But this was different. This was like, you go in, you do what you're gonna do, you answer all these questions, and then like you wait. And then they call you and they're like, "Hi, this is so-and-so from the casting department. We want you to take you to the next step, and we want you to come to this city." And you were like, "Oh shit." Like, okay, now I have to drive from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. That was the only option, right? So then you have to go to regionals. All these small towns collect to regional location somewhere. So girls were coming from the South. Girls were coming from New York. They were all over the place coming to Washington, D.C. And you meet at a mall and you're like, what the heck is this? So you're in a big mall and you're up like where the mall offices are. So then you're all sitting outside the office on the floor for hours waiting for your chance to go into this office. Like they picked the strangest places.
I know.
They don't tell you a whole lot. They just say you're going to meet this casting director. So I had again, my boyfriend at the time, his sister's husband's ex-wife lived in Washington, D.C. They're still friendly.
Yes.
They called him up and they were like, "Can Joanie spend the night with you?" She's a teacher, okay? So she helped me make this like 3-ring binder that was like, "I want to be a model, and here's some pictures pasted in there with glitter and shit." And it was all pretty, and I like took it in and handed it to the casting director, and I was like, "I want to be a model. I want to do this so bad." I felt like a little kid in like elementary school. But then you give it to them, and then I think, what am I gonna say to like stand out? Like I gotta say something crazy, like I don't know. I was like, "I'll throw grapes at homeless people." I was literally saying like anything. I was like, what can I do to like stay in their mind? So that's when I brought up like, "Oh, I'm a pastor's daughter, but I'm wild. I'll do all these crazy things," because that was when I wanted them to be like, "Oh, is she for real crazy?" Because that's kind of cool. So each time they called, it was always like, wow, this is a crazy feeling. It was like nothing I've ever felt.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that's just like, so how many calls did you go through before you got the call saying, "Hey, we want you to come out to LA. You're going to be a finalist competing."
After
in
Washington,
America's Next Top
D.C.,
Model?
it was the next call was, "You're in the semifinals." So then it was like the top 32 girls go to Pasadena, and then she chose the top 13 from there. And that was a week-long process.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say LA. I mean, well, technically, but I was just like, no. I was like, huh. So, okay.
Pasadena doesn't sound very glamorous.
It doesn't.
We went to the 30 of us went to Pasadena. Ooh, sounds hot.
Okay, so when you moved into the house, of all the contestants that were there, from the beginning, who could you like automatically feel like you were like, okay, we're gonna get along and we're gonna have like a bond, and I feel like this is gonna be one of the people that I chill with? Like, who were some of those contestants?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely Danielle and Molly straight off the bat were just like so personable and real and down to earth. Molly was hilarious and awesome. And Ferranda, even though she was like so crazy with her house rules and stuff like that, she was just she was so great. Nina was a sweetheart, and but like I said, some of the girls left so soon that we didn't really get a chance to know them. So, but
yeah,
right off the bat, I knew that I didn't like Jade. There was something with her. I was like, she was so weird. I'd never met anybody like her before.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, pretty much everybody was nice.
Yes, we now I personally have never lived in a top model house with Jade or have had to compete with Jade. And I think too, as just like drag queens and homosexuals, we love chaotic and messy people. And I think that's why we're like, I don't know what it is about Jade that I like am so obsessed with. And even like as a teenager, I was like, this young woman is like living in her own universe. And like, there's like, and I say this because like so many people be like, what is your like number one piece of advice to be like a successful drag queen? And I was like, you have to be delusional. I was like, to be a good drag queen, you have to be delusional because you have to kind of like create your own little fantasy world that you live in. And then like everybody else just kind of like plays a part in, but you are the star, you are the everything of this film, of this universe. And that's kind of how drag queens put on their airs. And so when production and people like Tyra started referring to Jade as a drag queen, I was like, T, because she has all the attitude, all the chutzpah that it takes to be a delusional narcissist, like so many of us are. And that's what I absolutely love.
Delusional narcissist, that like nails it.
You know, because you could not tell her that she was not the fiercest biracial butterfly to ever walk this planet. She said, I am the with two E's undiscovered supermodel. We were like, okay, all right.
I know.
We are back and we are chatting with Miss Joanie about her makeover on Makeover Day. So now, Joanie, when it came time for makeovers, were you nervous going into that makeover experience?
Like for the hair part, yes, because literally like my hair was so important to me. I think it was like my favorite thing about me because at the time, remember, I had crooked teeth and I was skinny and pale and I didn't find my, I was insecure. And I was like, my hair is amazing. Please don't cut my hair. Don't dye it dark. I was freaking out. But then when they did my hair, it was like really nice. I was so happy. It looked really pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did that. Icy blonde was really nice on you.
Great choice. I'm glad that they did not try and go all cuckoo crazy with you. It just were like, yes, let's just amp up her natural beauty and not try and go so crazy. Was there anything during your makeover experience in that we did not get to see, or any other contestants' makeover experiences that we didn't get a chance to see on the show? Anything that you remember?
No. The only thing, again, that they don't show you on TV that is just absolutely exhausting to us as cast members was that, you know how long it takes for someone like me to get my hair done? At least 2 to 3 hours, right? So there's 13 of us. Just imagine how long we were there. We were there like first thing in the morning and we left well into the night. So it was insane. So we had to sit there and wait for every other girl to get done. I don't even know if they fed us. I mean, there was a lot of that, by the way. We were at their beck and call. So it was like, you will eat when you are fed. You can pee when we say you can go. Like it was very militaristic. So it was not always like fun and exciting.
It's like so wild because I think about Drag Race, and it's not like we're shooting at a bunch of different locations. We're on a lot in a sound studio. So it's a very controlled environment. And anytime we want, we can walk just right out of that workroom. And I kid you not, there's like a snack room just like 20 feet away. And let me tell you, I spent a lot of time in that snack.
I wish.
Eating like gummy bears. And just chips. Look, sometimes you eat, especially when it's like stressful, you're like, let me just go step outside, eat a candy bar. I'm not myself because I'm hungry. Let me go have a Snickers and then I'll come back and then I'll be just like the jolly happy drag queen that everyone wants to see. Tyra tells you that you're going to be getting a dental makeover. Were you excited?
Yeah, I mean, well, I obviously was emotional. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. but also at the same time, I was super scared because I was like, what are they going to do to me? Like,
Yeah.
what can you possibly do to all of this?
Yeah.
In an afternoon, obviously I'm thinking like, huh?
Mhm.
And then when you told me what they were going to do, I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah.
So they want to pull out 4 teeth. All right. Like, we're going to pull them straight out of your head. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
To make room for this and that and all this. And then we're going to shave things. And I knew nothing about this kind of dentistry. I didn't know anything about it. So I come to find out later, the same boyfriend that I still had after the show, his uncle's a dentist. He brought me in, looked at my teeth, and he was like, oh my God, what did they do to you? And I'm like, what do you mean? What did they do to me? He goes, you needed orthodontic. You needed like braces and retainers and like rubber bands and stuff to fix your teeth. You had too much crowding and not enough space. So pulling the teeth out, yes. But they should have also then given you braces or done something. What they did was like, just imagine like your teeth are like this and they need to come back and do like this. And like fix your bite so you close your mouth the right way and everything. They literally did like this and shaved them down to nubs and then put fake teeth on that made them look like this, straight. So my jaw still favors one side because my bite's all messed up. If I bite where I want to bite, my jaw's like this, and it's just weird. And like they stick out really far in the front like this. I mean, they're still there. I'm like, whatever. But if anything goes wrong, I am on the hook, honey. I am on the hook. Like, I'm going to have to pay so much money if one of these breaks or something goes wrong inside, like at the root, to like match them. I'm like, do I go back to the same doctor? So at the same time, I'm super stoked. But now in hindsight, I'm like, holy crap. They left me with such a burden for the future. At some point, like, I hope these at least last till I'm 70 because then, girl, I'm getting dentures.
Seems like an easier fix.
Yeah, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, they did that in what, like the span of like 2 days?
2 days. Literally 2 days. So they pulled everything out, they shaved everything down, they sent me home. Then the next day they brought me back and they had like made little a one piece thing that they put in
bridge.
Was like a gigantic, it was like from here to here, all one piece, real thick like a Sharpie. It was thick. Ooh. So then you're trying to make words around this big thing in your mouth now that you have to get used to. But then they send you off into the world. So you're like, okay. And you smile and you're like, it's just ridiculous. And then after the show was over, so they made it seem like on TV, I'm done. You're done. Yeah. But I wore that one piece thing for months, like months and months and months. I went home to Pennsylvania with it. And then they would fly me back to LA for 3-4 trips and put me up for a couple of days. And I'd go back to the dentist for 2-3 days in a row. And they would keep working on me, fit things to me, and then put individuals in and do the bottoms and do it. It took a long time. And I don't think I was done with my teeth, totally done, until like well into the show airing.
See, exactly, because as a viewer, I was like, oh, that's how they like fix teeth. But then as someone who's had dental work done and knows that there's like fittings and processes, because they got to make sure that everything does kind of like come in and fit right. Instead of just like shoving a temporary bridge in there and being like, go out there in the world and model. I was like, holy crap, girl. That it's just like, that is so wild.
I know. It was insane. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm super grateful. I mean, for even what it is, because it gave me such confidence. It changed the way I presented myself. And yeah, it's been great. But I know if I could change things and do things a different way, I totally would. But it would cost me a lot of money.
It is
you would think with them spending that much money too, though, they would have at least thought about the fact that they'd have to like fly you back and forth too. Like what a whole ordeal.
I know.
Yeah, and from Pittsburgh to LA, that's not a short flight.
No.
No.
Always in economy.
Lord.
She's got
My
the first
favorite.
class teeth, and we're gonna put her in good economy.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so I want to pivot and start talking about some more glamorous things.
Yeah.
We have to go into these photo shoots because you made it all the way to the top 2, having never landed yourself in the bottom. That is one of the most impressive.
Thank you. Yeah. I think
What's
I was
the word I'm looking for? Not showman. What do they say in sports? I'm gonna say presentation. That's what they use in pageants. You just really brought it. You really brought your A game. And it was very clear from the beginning when they were just kind of like testing you guys out in the semifinals that you were very natural in front of the camera. And that was what a lot of the, judges and like Jay Manuel were saying about you. So let's just take a stroll down memory lane and look at some of the photo shoots that you did on your cycle of Top Model. Okay, so next up, we have one of my personal favorites, the Falling Princesses photo shoot. Every cycle, there is one shoot that just goes beyond its process, and it is definitely this one. These falling photos are so iconic, and yours is definitely up there in the top because like one thing that I always talk about, regardless if it's a top model photo or somebody's Instagram post or a drag race photo or something in both, I'm always like, is that model pointing their toes? And your toes are pointed to the fullest level of extension possible. Like that girl, that toe, I mean, like, it's clear that you have like natural like dance abilities, but did you train as a dancer growing up?
No, I always kind of wanted to, I had best girlfriends that were like in ballet and I'd go over to their house and like play with them and do things with them. And I was in like color guard and different types of things where you had to learn how to march and point your toes and so on. So I just think I was a flexible younger person back then. And I just was like, like I said, the dress was perfect. And the lady wanted to see movement and she goes, kick your leg and then fall. And I'm thinking, oh, that's so easy for you to say.
You made it look easy.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I almost didn't do it. I almost could not do it. I was so scared. And I tried a couple times and I would fall like, Rah! And then Jay goes, Joanie, are you going to be able to do this? Like, come on, you really need to do this. Like, he wasn't even on camera saying this. I think if it were a thing, he would have been on camera being like, Joanie. But he was like, listen, you need to like do this right
he
now.
Genuinely was like, this will be the shot.
Yeah. And I finally did it once I got the hang of it. But dude, seriously, I was so sore the next day. It was like getting whiplash.
That's what I was about to say, because like, you guys are like falling onto these like mats, but like, okay, so just looking at your pose in this photo, the first thing that you're going to be coming down is your rib cage. Like that's all I can think about is just like landing on your ribs like every single time and how much that would be hurting the next day. Oh, right.
Yeah, it was bad.
The mini challenge win should have been a massage or a spa day.
Right.
I wish.
But then you probably would have also had to like serve champagne, like if you didn't win. So I don't know, maybe you wouldn't have wanted that. But
okay, so next up, we have to discuss the improvisation Covergirl ad that you had to do. And this challenge went viral for so many different reasons, for so many different contestants. I have to ask you, Joanie, what did you feel was like the biggest challenge for you doing this improvised Covergirl commercial?
It was just that. It was the improvisation. It was like, what do you say? They didn't give you any idea, but they made sure that you knew that the camera wasn't going to stop for you, right? The camera, that guy that's walking backwards with the thing, you know, with the little small camera, he's not stopping for you. So you have to keep up with him. So you go through the crowd, come up the steps and everything else. So I was so worried about that. And literally on the fly, you have your line you have to deliver, which we're so focused on that. But the rest, I'm like, what am I going to say? I'm like, I don't know what to do. And here's shy little me, like not wanting to be, again, I think this was before my teeth were done. Yeah, before my teeth were done. So I was super like, didn't want to be like, hey, everybody. You know? Yeah, so that what's funny is still to this day, people will write comments. Oh, Joanie just had to make it through the day.
I'm glad that it is as iconic for everybody else as it is for me, because that does play in my head.
I love it.
You know, and look, because I feel like it strikes a very specific chord for so many people who have felt that same feeling when you are really just like,
you're just trying to make it through the day, guys.
All pandemic.
Oh, and can I just say, I got hit up on Instagram. I guess I have won the most, I don't know, I'm the best runner-up of all time via Reddit.
Can you say? Ooh, wow. Snaps. You heard it here. I want to be on top. Joanie says, I have the credentials.
I do.
And you can find them on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a question for you. Follow up in this challenge. Do you feel like Jade was crazy for calling out the judges for not using her best take?
No, I don't. And here's the reason why. Are any of these really our best? What? Who's picking these? Who's picking the pictures? Now, listen, I think it always should have been, we have to pick we get the role, we get to look at it, we pick our best. That way, when they judge us, they're judging us on what we think our best is. When you pick it for us, you can pick some whatever weird thing that you want. And you know they did.
Exactly. And you could really feel it in the way that Jade says it to the judges, because it almost feels like a plea, because she really struggled this entire week. Yeah. And the fact that she struggled to get like a semi-coherent take, I know was really tough for her. So then to see the one that was the worst, the way that she was just like,
I know.
She's like, you guys used my worst one.
I know.
Like, you've never seen Jade kind of like, she was really like pleading with them. Like, why would you do that? You know? Then, you know, we get Tyra in there being like, hey, that's what happens. I do Victoria's Secret fashion shoots all the time. And I go, why did they pick that? And I'm like, well, there you go. Tyra said it.
I was just going to say, if Tyra says it, it's true.
Bible, you know. It is the word. It is the word of Tyra. Okay, so I want to now skip forward to your international trip when you all went to Thailand and you got to shoot with this elephant. All right, first of all, getting to the location, what was that like?
It was amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, I mean, there had to have been an access road that they took to get the lighting there and all the staff there and the camera people. I'm thinking there's no way they all went by elephant. It was a jungle. But we were in the jungle. There was nothing else around. They had like generators and things, and like it was insane. But we went through the woods and we're up. These elephants were huge. I think their backs were at 10 or 12 feet tall, at least, right? Or 8 to 10 feet, something like that.
I like had to look at my ceiling to be like, and it seems about like how tall an elephant would be.
Yeah, I would say like sitting on their backs was about, maybe 7 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Wow.
So just imagine like if you walked through a muddy trail in the woods, you know, you might get into like this much mud and get your feet stuck and everything else. Well, these elephants, it was like elephant scale mud. So the mud was 3 feet deep, and slippy and slimy, but they're so big. So we're rocking and rolling, walking through this mud and slipping and sloshing. And then it went into the water and it went in up to its shoulders. So I'm thinking, oh my God, Jennifer Lopez Anaconda, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, looking around like, ooh. But no, it went through the water and I was like, this is amazing. And what was nice about it is there was no one else but us. There was no camera. I mean, there was cameras around, but in this moment we were like alone and we got to enjoy it. And it was really wonderful. And, I was with Jay and Danielle and it was just, the two of us just like all chatting, the 3 of us, I should say. And but it was really great. So that was an amazing part. But then when we got to the location, the whole theme of it was like shaving your legs and having smooth legs. And I have blonde, fair hair on my body. I hadn't shaved my legs since I think I started on the show. I was like, I don't care. And Jay, they didn't show it on camera, but Jay saw my legs and he was like, ew, Joanie, you need to shave your legs. And that was it was really funny because everybody laughed and it was a fun moment, but they didn't show it.
Well, I mean, I'm like, is it really necessary? Because I was just commenting about just how smooth your legs looked in that ventriloquist photo. Like, you could not tell me that wasn't a completely hairless leg.
I know, now I'm about to zoom in.
I don't think I had shaved. I mean, again, it's so fair and fine.
Yeah, it's like, so it's not necessary. It's like,
you wouldn't even know. It's crazy. It's gotten different the older I've gotten, but like, I mean, it's just only around. I only really get hair that you can see down by my ankles. It's crazy. Kind of lucky.
So you really only need to shave your ankles. Now you slayed this photo shoot, obviously, and this is the episode where Danielle leaves the hospital to come and do this photo shoot. Now, you said that you guys really did have like a nice moment while you were like traveling to the location on elephant back. Is that how you would say it? On elephant back? Yeah. Whereas like Danielle's friend in the house, was there like a piece of you that was like kind of like, I'm a little bit concerned for my girl. She was just in the hospital and now we got to ride these elephants out to the middle of the jungle and do a photo shoot.
She was always so strong.
Wow.
She showed up and she was just like, I'm good. I'm fine, you guys. I'll be fine. I'm a little tired, whatever. Like, she's like, let's go. She was never complaining. She never made herself look like she was scared or anything. So she seemed fine to me. I mean, I think she kept, she didn't push it too hard. She would sit down a lot and everything else, but she was super strong.
And also, how was it for you? Because I know that they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But when you were doing all of the really interesting moves with the elephant and like being on its feet and doing that cool little riding thing, and then you saw Sarah go in after you and attempt to do it, but not execute it as gracefully as you did. As a competitor, was there a moment where you were sitting there like,
And here's another thing about movie magic, you guys. I didn't even notice that at the time that she was doing this. They edited the show so well. They had a shot of me going, like I was watching her shoot. I wasn't. Like, I didn't even notice this. They told me later in OTFs, they were like, so Sarah tried to copy you and whatever. And I honestly didn't care. I thought I nailed it. And this is how the handler gets onto the animal. This is a normal thing. Everybody could try it if they wanted to. It wasn't like my thing. So that, like I said, TV magic, they just blew that up.
And you heard it here first, folks. Nothing but some TV shenanigans. Well, Joanie, it has been so much fun going down memory lane with you. But now I want to shift and talk a little bit more about your life post-top model. Now, I know that you made a name for yourself in the land of top model. We were just talking about your the poll on Reddit that said that you are the top runner-up in top model history. But you've also been keeping your legacy going on post-top model. After the show wrapped, you continued working, and you are now a carpenter and still working in television.
Yeah.
So the finale of the show was May 17th, 2006. So you let me know that you moved to LA right after airing. So what was your life like what was your life like post top model? How was your experience working as a model back in 2006 in Los Angeles?
So right before, like a couple months before I moved, I broke up with the boyfriend that I had. You know, it was really a lot. I knew I had to move out. I knew I had to leave. It was like I had to go. You know what I mean?
You're like, baby, I catch flights, not feelings.
Yes. So Tyra had actually called me a couple times and introduced me to an agency out there. That was kind of like my kickstart. Like, okay, I have an agent. I have someone to help me, right? But they didn't provide a model house. They didn't provide any transportation. They didn't provide any per diem or any help, you know, like you would if you traveled internationally and modeled. I called up whoever I knew, and the only people I knew were people that were on the show, the camera operators, the PAs, Charlie, the wardrobe person. So I stayed with them. I crashed couches. I think I had like $500, but back in 2006, you could survive on that for a little while. Eventually, I had met someone, and I was like living with them. I mean, I was opportunistic. Let's be honest. You gotta survive, you know.
Yeah, we were all young. We all had to sleep
Anyways,
somewhere.
Yeah. So I was staying with someone. I got a job at a bar. The DJ at the bar was like, you can have this old 1986 Volvo car that I owe like 6 parking tickets on. You can just have it, pay the parking tickets. So that was my $700 car. I drove around LA with my book, went to castings, like beat the pavement, got a job at a boutique, worked at at nightclubs helping get models in with the promoter, and like however I could make money to make it happen. But what sucked is like, even in LA, there was some audiences that really were like, oh my God, you're Joanie from Top Model. We want you to work with us. And the rest of them were like, ew, you're not a real model. You're from a reality TV show. And that hindered me like no other. So that kind of sucked. But I had the opportunity to go back to Asia. And my agent was like, yeah, you can go to China. You can go to here. And I said, China, let's go. So when I did that, that started almost an entire year of me traveling internationally and modeling out of the country. And that's where I made the most money. So they kind of know who you are, but still, it's still, you're working a lot more.
Actually, April from Cycle 2, we had her on the show, and she had explained that she had the biggest level of success working the Asian market because they were actually booking girls from Top Model and giving them, you know, the real Top Model working experience. Whereas a lot of the casting directors in America who were familiar with the show, like you said, either they would support you or were all about it, or they would be like, you should just stick to reality television, which is so wild because when you think about just like the way that modeling is now, like you think about top models like Kendall Jenner, who got her start being seen on reality TV.
Right? It's crazy. I know.
And you have models who competed on a reality television show about modeling with one of the most successful supermodels in the world. And people are like, no, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I mean, I would look through magazines looking for America's Next Top Models. I would be like, where is Joanie and
where are the girls
in these magazines? These are top models.
I know.
It's in the title of the show.
Oh, absolutely. It was heartbreaking, really. I mean, just imagine, like, that's why we're there. That's what we want as like contestants. We want to be models. So when we get out into the real world and people laugh at us, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So to model outside the country was great. And I think that's why, honestly, if you look at cycles, 4, 5, 6. And then it kind of picks back up after like 13, 14, that you'll see a lot of the models, 90% of each cycle goes back to regular life.
Yeah.
No one really continues on. It was fun for a while, but no one has any success with modeling.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
It's just so wild that the show was ahead of its time, before, the show was just ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And the fact that the industry was not ready to embrace you all is just like, it's sad and it's crazy because for top model super fans like us, we got to see you all go through these extreme challenges. And like you said, things that are harder than what models have to actually do. And yet you guys weren't afforded the opportunity to really showcase your amazing modeling talents. Like, it's just such a crazy catch-22.
I know. It's weird. It's a bummer.
So I recently became a homeowner and I've really been getting into watching a lot of home makeover shows. And, I was going through watching some Trading Spaces because I was like, you know what? I used to love watching Trading Spaces back in the day. And so when I was rewatching it, I look on the TV screen and who do I see but Joanie? And I was like, okay, so here my worlds are colliding right now. I'm binge watching Top Model while also binge watching home makeover shows and Trading Spaces. And I just want to know, where did the love and the desire to become a television carpenter come from?
Oh my gosh. So such a weird progression. So way before, even in college, I would do stuff on the side. I'm a Virgo, very organized person. So I started doing personal organizing for people. It was like a little side job, but that even back then turned into like, well, I could probably figure out how to put an extra shelf in this closet. And you want to store things in the attic and there's nothing down. Well, let's put up pieces of plywood and we'll make a little floor up there. And it progressed into this like learning as you go type, life. Well, then when I got back from modeling in Italy, I had ran into some people that worked for the DIY network. And they were like, you're so handy, can I make a video of you building something and whatever? And they played the whole like model, but she can also do And so they sent that video in and they loved it. And they were like, we want to bring you in for an audition for this show. And I did, and I got it. But for the first 2 weeks, I was really kind of like, I only knew certain things. I didn't know a lot. So they sent me to Tennessee for a couple weeks to work with this builder named Jim. And I worked with Jim all day, every day for 2 weeks. He was having me crawling in crawl spaces and getting dirty and like ripping things out of walls and everything else. But I fell in love with it. I was like, this is actually really rewarding. I love this. This is awesome. I know I can do this. I feel so tough and empowered. And I think this is rad. And this is a long time ago. This is like 12, 13 years ago. This is before really there were a ton of women on TV doing this kind of stuff. So once I had that first show under my belt and I really enjoyed it and I got my contractor's license, I thought, this is my niche. This is my thing. I like doing this. And so I just continued to do it. Anytime I had an opportunity to, do something for a friend and build, I did it. Anytime I got my contractor's license, which was so great for me because I never finished my college degree. So for me to, because I dropped out to be a model, but to go back to school and to finish something, and I was like, yeah, now I'm building stuff and look at me. And I felt so empowered. It was so great. But also just to work with your hands. And at the end of the day, you come home and you're like, man, I'm tired. I worked hard. I felt good about it. And again, like the TV thing is just the icing on the cake. TV doesn't, like, this kind of stuff doesn't make you rich. Obviously, it's TV, but it's fun, and I really like it, and I like being a role model, and I like showing women that it doesn't matter where you come from in life, you can make your own life however you want it to be.
Absolutely. And that's what I thought was like so amazing about seeing you on the show is I was just so like, Joanie is really showing us just like, a really broad representation of all the things that women are capable of doing. I said, she could get out here and she can model and she can smize, but she can also do a miter cut on some wood for you and build a lovely armoire or a what are those things that go on this credenza? I don't know.
Yes, whatever. Absolutely.
Yes. Now, do you have a favorite home design project that you've done?
Something that I've built?
Yeah, or just like any kind of like project that you're like, you conceptualized and saw it come to fruition, because it seems like, you really do get joy out of like working with your hands, but B, the completion of having an idea come through to full fruition and is something that is like a tangible object,
So a great example would be this behind me.
Oh, word.
So this is a queen size Murphy bed. But it's horizontal instead of vertical, right? So it comes down and there's
like
space
a day
above
bed
it.
kind of?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see, but like there's a little bit of a shelf above it. And and there's bookcases on either side. So I built just the bed and I had all this extra space and I thought, let's just build bookcases. I need some more space for books and my records and things like that. And so that's what I did. And it's really great. And I put chevron pattern in it. These are 2 separate panels and you got to match it up perfectly. It was a lot of work. It took me an entire week to do this, all of it. And it's perfect though for this room because now I have a space for company, but yet I've maintained, these chairs move out of the way when I want to put the bed down. So it's great.
Yes. So the room that I'm actually in right now is like my multifunctional room where I'll like do my makeup and stuff like that for drag. And I actually am wanting to do a Murphy bed for my bed too. So I'm going to take that as the perfect sign that I too need to do a Murphy bed situation in here.
You could totally do this. And if you don't have all the tools, Home Depot can make the big cuts for you at the store. Mm-hmm. You just need a couple smaller saws to do the little stuff. But other than that, the kit is very doable. You could do it.
Yeah, I looked online and found the kit that Murphy like makes. And they also give you like a cut list too. Exactly. So you can make like the exact cuts that you want.
I think you're already on your way.
Woohoo! Look, if Joanie says I could do it, there it is. That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you, Joanie, so much. Like really, truly, for chatting with us today. We had so much fun with you. You are the real deal, and I really hope that you had a good time with us. Did you have fun?
I had a good time. Yeah. Thanks for bringing up all the fun, great memories and all the good stuff.
Yeah. See, look, that's what we love to do here at Wanna Be on Top. We love to just take fun trips down memory lane and just, let our fans know a little bit more, get to know the contestants more and just get like, a fun little dose of some top model herstory.
Exactly. It was awesome. I had a great time.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming by.
Yes. And thank you everyone for listening. And remember, if you have any top model facts or questions for Maxwell, me, or our guests, or you just want to say hi, you can send us an email to beontoppod@gmail.com. Now remember to subscribe to Wanna Be on Top wherever you listen, and make sure that you rate and review the show because it helps us grow. I'm Shea Couleé.
And I'm Maxwell Esposito.
And as always, the question remains,
Wanna be on top?
Wanna be on top with me, Shea Couleé. To listen to Wanna Be on Top ad-free and one day early, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcast.com/plus. Make sure to follow at Forever Dog Team and at Mom Podcasts on social and rate and review Wanna Be on Top 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Yes, bitch, I said 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wanna Be on Top is produced by Forever Dog and Moguls of Media, aka Mom, hosted by Shea Couleé, produced by Maxwell Esposito, editing and sound design by Will Pitts, executive produced by Willem Belli, Big Dipper, Alaska Thunderfuck, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey.